Hi, I'm Joan Newcomb, and today's weekly musings is relaxing into discomfort. I'm doing a series of weekly musings, and I'm using posts from my blog, Adventures in Density and Effort, as inspiration. Now, I wrote these a while ago, and the world has completely changed since then. However, I am finding this information to be very pertinent and evergreen. Still, at the very end, I will summarize the topic based on all that's going on in the world today. Also, I have some special offers, so stay tuned to the very end to see what they are. Relaxing into discomfort. I'm in Germany, and it's been one roller coaster ride since we got here. There were 32-mile-an-hour winds when we landed, which should have been a clue for the rest of the trip. When we came from Madrid, where it was nearly 80 degrees, and in Germany, it was in the 30s, we've been rained on, lightninged over, and pelted with hail pellets. Our artist's apartment in Madrid was warm and inviting. Our flat in Kreuzberg is a flop house for grunge rebels. Madrid is no problema friendly. Germany is nicht so. It is hard to stay conscious in discomfort. My body contracts with a cold. It feels similar to being in poverty or ill. I'm distributing my mother's ashes to places where we lived. To get down to Zellendorf, we encountered closed stations in Reichstag, a change of trains on the U3, and then an ersatz U3 bus because there had been a fire on the line. At some point, I realized I can just relax into the discomfort. A girl who looked like Tintin appeared to help us when passengers were being told to leave the train. It had thundered and hailed over the Reichstag, and it was sunny and almost warm in Zellendorf. Zellendorf's brick-cobbled streets were strewn with tree limbs from the windstorm the night before. Many of the houses were unchanged from when my family had lived there during the Cold War. The more I relaxed, the more my mother showed up. That's not true. She'd been present the whole way. We'd walked on Dorotheenstrasse at the start of our trip, and DB, which was her maiden name initials for Deutsches Bond, is also my nickname for her. Little purple flowers appeared, and I think of purple or a bluish purple as her color. The first house had whimsical tiles, probably not original, but the kind of thing that would have made her giggle. And the pub on the corner had a probably original Berliner Kindle sign. She had a large collection of mugs and glasses, mostly from there. We left a dusting of hers in each place and returned to Kreuzberg, where we were rained and hailed on. The next morning, we took my husband to the Crank House, which is such a good name for the place. I got to practice relaxing into discomfort with rude admins and raving admitteds. Nobody feels like they've chosen to be sick on vacation, and certainly nobody likes to go to a hospital. But I have a traumatic reaction to them after sleeping beside my mother for 18 days when she fell and broke her pelvis and then got diagnosed with cancer while she had Alzheimer's. Meanwhile, my 24-year-old son is having the time of his life with the night scene in Kreuzberg, German beer and currywurst. He doesn't mind the discomfort of the weather, or at least does not let that stop him from fully enjoying his Berlin holiday. He is symbolic of the next generation moving forward without the restrictions of the past. My husband currently is symbolic of those of us releasing painful patterns. Tonight we leave. My son is returning home to Madrid, and my husband and I are going on to London. Perhaps this whole ordeal was to make the next phase of my journey seem easier. London will now feel warm. It's in the mid-50s there. We'll be used to trains and undergrounds, and we'll really appreciate knowing the language. Tomorrow is a major eclipse, which closes one door and opens another. It's a time of sudden, unexpected changes. What do you need to relax into? What are you resisting or needs releasing? Breathe into it. This too shall pass. It'll take you to a new level of expanded consciousness, and it will get better. And if you've had any experiences like this, please leave me a comment below because I'd love to read your comments. Well, I wasn't recently in Germany, which is my birthplace, but I was recently on vacation with some family members last week, and it was very stressful, mainly because the people that I was with have a lot of trauma and multiple illnesses. So things were naturally chaotic. And the weather was nice for the first few days, and then typical Northwest weather for the rest. But what I think about, both from that, which I thought was really amusing to remember what the weather was like in the different places, and also from now, is how we have a choice to change our internal response to things. Our external response is usually reactionary, as a reaction to what's externally happening. I find when that happens to me, I tend to freeze and hunker down, or I get very aggressive and I fight. If I can center myself and come from myself as consciousness, which emanates from the center, I can have a completely different experience of reality than what's going on externally. And the other thing I have found is often my changing my internals changes my externals. And suddenly everything does relax. Things do go better. Things happen in unexpected and surprising ways. So think about how that could apply to you with what's going on in your world today, or if you're being influenced by what's going on in the external world. How can you change your internal? How can you embody yourself as greater consciousness and radiate that outward and see how your reality changes? So if you like these videos, please share them with your family and friends and on your social media. And please click the heart button, the thumbs up button. Please subscribe and all of those things. Tell the algorithm to share this far and wide and get this out to someone who really needs to see this information. And if you'd like a free sample of one of my consciousness techniques, click on the link below to the skybox technique. It'll give you a drone's eye perspective of what's going on in your life today and also in what's going on in the rest of the world. And if you'd like to learn how to do this for yourself, click on the link below to my self-study course, where you will learn tools and techniques to navigate your life as consciousness. And if you want to know more, my website is joan-newcomb.com. You can find out about my individual sessions and also my coaching program. So go to joan-newcomb.com, and I'll see you next week in another Weekly Musings.